And share screen. Well, welcome everyone to our call. We are so happy that you are joining us tonight, this evening. My name is Julie, and I will tell you a little bit more about myself later, but I'm a part of a wonderful community called the Healthy Living Revolution. And if you're logged on to this call, it's because the person who invited you is a part of this amazing community. And we really are a unique group of thousands of people that are helping others, families and individuals. We are coming alongside of them and helping them to take healthy back in ways that are simple, doable, and fun. And we are very excited to share the information that we have with you tonight. We will be efficient, I promise, and you're gonna love the stories that we end on. So, first of all, we are really excited, and the reason we're all hopping on this call at 6 o'clock at night is because we want to change the trend of health that we're at right now. And the reason we're facing this problem is because there are two startling trends happening today in our world. And the first is that environmental toxins are increasing. So whether this is with the air that you breathe, products you're putting on your skin, the pharmaceuticals that you're taking, the water that you're drinking, the food that you're eating, we are exposed to more toxins today than our grandparents, and quite a bit more than our grandparents' parents. So as the environmental toxins are increasing, our food quality is also decreasing. And I really like this image because this man is in the center aisle of the grocery store. And I have learned, when I started my health journey about 6 years ago, I made a really important switch. And I stopped reading calories and fat on a nutrition label, and I started reading what was in the ingredient label. And that was very, very eye-opening. And I found that when I was in the center aisles of the grocery store, oftentimes I wasn't buying food anymore, but I was buying food-like products that were full of ingredients that I couldn't pronounce or I didn't recognize. So now my guideline is to aim for less than 5 ingredients and all ingredients that I can pronounce. So I would really encourage you to start looking at ingredient labels, because as our environment is becoming more toxic, our food should be what's protecting us and keeping us most healthy. But at the same time, our food quality is decreasing. And it's leading to some really scary statistics. So this is Dr. David Katz. He's the head of prevention at Yale. And he said that this may be the first generation of children to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. Unfortunately, since he made that quote, it's actually been proven true that if nothing changes, this will be the first generation of children to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. Since the documented history, we have always lived longer, and for the first time ever, we may not live as long. We may go backwards, and that should be very alarming. By the age of 12, many of our children have developed the beginning stages of hardening of the arteries. 1 in 3 children is obese, 1 in 3 will develop diabetes, and more than 25% take prescription drugs on a regular basis. This is Dr. Bill Sears. He is known as America's Pediatrician, and he shares how us adults are doing, which is not much better. 1 in 3 people live with some form of cardiovascular disease. 1 in 3 women will have cancer, and 1 in 2 men. 1 in 3 will have diabetes by 2050, and 1 in 3 is obese. But the reason we are on this call tonight, and the reason why we're going to change that statistic that Dr. David Katz shared about the kids, is because of this big quote at the bottom. 75% of all chronic disease is preventable. A lot of the disease that we're dealing with today, we really do have a little bit of control over. There are things that we can do in our environment to help change that. So oxidative stress is linked to poor health. So what is oxidative stress? Well, I want you to consider an apple. Whenever you cut open an apple and the flesh is exposed to the air, it begins to oxidize. It begins to rust and to brown and to age. And the same thing is happening to our cells every day, all day long. There's really nothing we can do about oxidative stress. As long as we're breathing, we have it in our body. And it really is the deterioration of our cells and the aging of our cells. But just like with an apple, when you squeeze lemon juice on an apple, the antioxidants in the lemon juice will slow down that browning, that rusting, that aging process on the apple. And the same thing happens inside of our bodies. When we eat antioxidants, it literally provides a barrier around our cells, and it helps to protect them, to keep them as healthy as possible, and to defend them against the oxidative stress. So our best defense is antioxidants, and we all know where we get antioxidants from. fruits and vegetables. But unfortunately, today's mass-produced produce is packing a much less nutritional punch. So first of all, the main reason, or one of the big reasons why our food has much less nutrition than it used to, is because of soil depletion. I'm not going to go into that tonight, but if you're curious, Google it. You'll learn some amazing things. But the second reason is because our food is mass produced. We can go to the grocery store tonight and choose from a variety of fruits and vegetables, which is wonderful. However, in order for that to happen, we are producing them on such a large scale. And most people don't know that the majority of the nutrition comes into a fruit or a vegetable within the last 24 to 48 hours of ripening on the vine. So when you go to the grocery store and you pick that green banana or the tomato that was ripened in the truck with gas, our produce isn't coming close to ripening on the vine. It's having to be picked a good 2 to 3 weeks before we are able to buy it or before we consume it. So it's having much less nutrition than it used to. I love this image. It's just so visually stimulating, I think. In 1953, the iron content that was present in a bowl of spinach, you had to eat 43 bowls of spinach in 1997 to get the same iron content that you did in 1953. And that was 20 years ago. So I don't know where we are now, but I know it is much worse. And it explains those statistics that we saw from the doctors earlier. As our environment is increasing, our food toxins are increasing, our food is becoming so much less nutritious, and we just are fighting an uphill battle. So this is the difference between a multivitamin and an apple. And honestly, about in the 1950s and 1960s, we knew that we had a deficiency. And it was at that time that we thought there were 12 essential ingredients in fruits and vegetables that we needed. So we decided we were going to man-make them in a lab, isolate them, synthetic, put them into a multivitamin, and bridge the gap. And unfortunately, as you can tell, since vitamins have been around, we have not gotten much better. In fact, we've gotten much sicker. So the ingredient label of a multivitamin shows a few isolated vitamins, but what many people are surprised to learn is that in an apple today, they have discovered over 20,000 different ingredients or phytonutrients present in one apple. They have discovered over 25,000 different nutrients present in one blueberry. And all of those thousands of ingredients are meant to work synergistically together in our body to either heal us or keep us well from the inside out. So ingredient number 5 and ingredient number 4008 and ingredient number 18,002 work together. And you don't need an isolated 1,000 milligrams of them. You need a little bit of the whole fruit or vegetable. One thing that's very interesting to learn is that lycopene is present in a tomato, and it's been proven to help fight prostate cancer. But they are finding that when they remove the lycopene from the tomato, it has no effect on prostate cancer. And that's because that lycopene is working with the other thousands of ingredients that are present in the tomato. So what we really need is more fruits and vegetables, maybe not more multivitamins. So they said, they used to say 5 a day, and then more recently they said 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. It came out that if you're fighting disease, over 200 pounds, an athlete, or pregnant, you'd actually be better off with 18 to 20 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. But really the government now has just said scratch that, and they say more matters, because we literally need as many as we can get. Nobody with the standard American diet has an overdose of fruits and vegetables right now. So the reason we are on this call and the reason we are excited is because at some point in our journey, we learned about an amazing solution called Juice Plus. Juice Plus has been on the market for 25 years. It was developed over 30 years ago by a doctor, and he was a pretty forward-thinking doctor. He was more holistic. He actually helped cancer patients juice. And at the time, his dad was diagnosed with lymphoma, and he was given 3 weeks to live. So Dr. Smokey Santillo was trying to find a way to make his juice more powerful, and he decided that instead of juicing the fruits and vegetables, he was going to take the whole entire plant, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables, the whole entire plant with the pits, the peels, the rinds, the seeds, even the leaves, because much of the nutrition is present in the parts that we throw away. And he was going to put them in like a massive Vitamix, blend it up. What was left over was a slurry, and he dehydrated that slurry at a cold temperature to preserve the nutrients. And basically what was left was a powdered produce. And that's what's in our capsules. If you can see in my video, it's these little capsules full of powdered produce. And he just pumped his dad full of this produce. And he ended up living for 6 more years. And not only did he live, but he thrived. He had great quality of life. And it was at that time that Dr. Smokey knew he was onto something. And 25 years ago, our product hit the market. And it's incredibly unique because all this food that you see on this screen, this variety of color, that's what you get inside of our capsules. It is actually food. So this is what makes our product unique. We have a food label, a nutrition label. This is not a vitamin or a supplement. You cannot overdose. There is no warning label. If you can't overdose on a salad, you can't overdose on Juice Plus. When my kids were 6 months old, I opened the capsules and put it in their food because it is just food, not a vitamin or a supplement. It is full of phytonutrition instead of isolated vitamins. It's non-GMO, dairy-free, and gluten-free. We have an NSF certification, which is a third party that guarantees that what we say is in Juice Plus is and nothing more. It's the highest level of certification you can get. And it's also how you know that our product is free of any herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, and mold. And then finally, when the product hit the market 25 years ago, people started having unique experiences, and you're going to hear more about that later. But it was enough that our company decided that we wanted to know what was happening in human beings with blood drawn when they had Juice Plus in their system. And now we are the most researched. We have 38 published research studies, and Juice Plus is the most researched nutritional product in the world. We have been researched at Yale, Vanderbilt, Brigham Young, MD Anderson Cancer Center, some of the most prestigious facilities in the world, just proving that our product does amazing things in the body. So if you'll humor me, I'll tell you my favorite research study because I can't help myself. This was published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, and it was put in the, and it was done at the University of Maryland. And this was the brainchild of a group of cardiologists. And they knew that high-fat meals had an effect on your heart. So 50% of heart attacks happen 4 hours after a high-fat meal. It's why Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving are really challenging days at the ER. And they wanted to see the effects of Juice Plus on heart health. So they took a group of people to a very popular fast food restaurant, and they fed them a pretty typical fast food breakfast, but it was high in fat. They waited 4 hours, and they measured the constriction in their brachial artery, which is that gray bar that you see, that first bar. And then they divided the group into 3. They put one group on a placebo. They put a second group on our fruits and our veggies. And they put a third group on our fruits, our veggies, and our berries. And they waited only 28 days. And the purple bar is 28 days later. They took them back to that same restaurant and fed them the same high-fat meal and measured the constriction in their artery. You can see that the placebo group had a slight reduction. The group on our fruits and our veggies had 68% less constriction in their artery than they did 28 days prior. And the group on our fruits, veggies, and berries, which had the highest level of constriction in the beginning, they had a reduction of 98%. They went from 50% constriction in their artery to less than 1%. And the reason why I love this study is because it proves to you that more matters. These people changed nothing else in their diet. All they did was add more good stuff, and their body responded. And that's what we need. That's the beginning of change. And that makes me really, really excited. And that is one of our 38 published research studies. So I'd love to tell you about our Juice Plus Complete Shakes. I want you to consider that your body is like a car. And just like a car needs oil and gas and a high quality of both to run well, your body is the same. Your body needs micronutrition and macronutrition to run well. Micronutrition would be like the oil in your car. You know that if you delay an oil change or you get a low quality oil, as long as you have gas, your car will still run. But eventually, problems are brewing, and eventually you will have issues. And the same is true with micronutrition. The micronutrition that our cells need are those thousands of ingredients that are present in an apple, and it's what you'll get from our capsules is extra micronutrition. Macronutrition is proteins, fats, and carbs. That is the gas. That's what gives us instant energy, what keeps us going all day long. And in our country, we have an abundance of macronutrition, but we do not have very high quality macronutrition. So that's where our shakes come in. They come in chocolate and vanilla. They are low glycemic, so they stabilize the blood sugar. The number one thing my friends tell me that they love about our shakes is that they actually keep them full, and it's because they stabilize your blood sugar. They're vegan and non-GMO, gluten and dairy-free, plant-based protein. They have 24 different plants in them, and powerful prebiotic fibers. So I have a friend who calls this her chocolate broccoli. My family, we start out every single day. I'm actually drinking one right now. We start out every single day with our shakes, and they are absolutely delicious. And then finally, in October of last year, our company came out with our first capsule product in over 15 years, and it is our Omega Blend. And I'm crazy about these things. If you can see in my camera, these are our beautiful, I call them our dreamsicles. Many of us know that we have a deficiency in omega fatty acids, and they've been proven to support heart, brain, joints, skin, and eyes. Many people are bridging the gap right now with a fish oil, and our product is incredibly unique because we skip the fish and we go straight to the algae, which is where the fish get their omega-3s from. We have all of the omegas. It's a full spectrum, omega-3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. We believe that God put all of the omegas on earth for a reason, and that we need them in a high quality of each, and that's what you get with this. And they come from 100% plants, and that's what makes them more pure and more sustainable. But one thing that makes our product incredibly unique if you're currently taking an omega supplement is the way that it is sealed. So it took our company years to come up with the technology to cold press seal our vegetarian capsules. Many omega supplements are fully encapsulated, and in order to be encapsulated like that, they have been heated up to a degree that damages the oil. So you could technically be taking a supplement that's full of rancid oil, and nobody wants that. So I am crazy about these omegas. Before them, I was having a little bit of anxiety, and I have noticed that ever since I added them into my diet, I can tell that they are supporting my brain because that has gone away, and I am so, so very thankful for that amazing product. So this is Dr. Richard DuBois. He was the head of infectious disease in Atlanta, Georgia, and named one of America's top doctors. He was the first of thousands of healthcare professionals to come alongside of this product. And he said, there is nothing available anywhere else in the world with or without a prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus does. It is simply powerful because it is food. It is exactly what we were designed to eat, and just more of the good stuff, which is what we all can benefit from. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to ask my friend Julie to unmute herself and share her story.
Right. Well, it's a pleasure to do so. I just enjoy hearing that every time you share. Thank you. You always do a great job, Julie. So I found out about Juice Plus a couple of years ago, and I was slow to the game, which doesn't make a lot of sense given my background, because I have had a passion for nutrition for the last 16 years. And that coincided with the moment I got pregnant. So I got pregnant a little over 16 years ago, and all of a sudden what I was putting in my body it just was a lot more important to me. And so I started researching then and making small changes, and just, one foot in front of the other, I would just add on and add on. And I'm a researcher, I'm a learner, and so just spent my time reading books and studying nutrition and taking my family on the journey with me. So you fast forward, I don't know, like 10 years, 11 years, and I had a son who had asthma. And that was the first time I had come across that. He was my 6th child, so I had some mothering experience, but asthma was new to me. So we spent many a night in the hospital in the pediatric intensive care unit, where he was having just full-blown and dangerous asthma attacks. But they weren't happening every day, and I had this preconceived idea of what asthma was. I thought it was when you ran, or you had to have a daily inhaler. And he was having these attacks only every maybe 4 to 6 months, but when he had them, they were a big deal. So when we finally got diagnosed with asthma, we went to our specialist, and he said that even though they're happening every 4 to 6 months, you're going to need to put him on a daily steroid. And he was talking about Qvar, he was talking about albuterol, he was talking about prednisone. And all of these things have one thing in common: they're different levels of steroids. And although some people will tell you steroids are no problem, there's another side of those that would say there's a dark side to them, and they're not long-term, and they're not good, and certainly not in a growing child. So I was walking with my friend Julie, and she kept telling me about Juice Plus, and I kind of just said if this was something I would have known about it, and I'm not ready to, take it. I just was really slow. Kind of was a little prideful, honestly. And Julie's about 10 years younger than me, and I thought, whatever, you don't know much. But finally, I was like, okay, this man wants me to have my son on inhalers every day, and she's telling me she's hearing all kinds of great stories about asthma and children, and certainly she's not making medical claims, but would you just try it already? And you won't even have to pay for it. You just pay shipping because there's a program where you could get it for free. I'm like, come again? And she said, yeah, the company will give it to you for free if you have an adult who sponsors. So kind woman named Judy, who I've not met, sponsored Elijah, and we started giving him fruits and vegetables. Meanwhile, I gathered all the steroids and inhalers and nebulizers, and I put them in my closet in case something would happen. But I am here to tell you that next week will mark 15 months since we've had to use an inhaler, 15 months since we've had a nebulizer being used in our home, and 15 months since we've seen the inside of the PICU at the local children's hospital. And all we did was take fruits and vegetables in a capsule, which might seem little, but it's actually huge because the nutrition that little capsule packs is amazing. So that is my story, and now my whole family takes Juice Plus, and there's a lot of Juice Plus passed out at the table every night. So.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And you hit on an amazing program called the Juice Plus Children's Health Study, where any adult who takes Juice Plus can sponsor any child for free for 4 years. So I was able to do that through a current customer that I had, and it was amazing to see Elijah go from 3 PICU visits in 1 year to now 15 months of none. So thank you for sharing that story, Julie. It's so powerful. Mickey, at this point, if you can unmute yourself and share your story, we're so excited to hear from you. My shake went on the wrong.
Okay, there we go. Can you hear me? All right. I was introduced to Juice Plus about 3.5 months, 4 months ago by Amy, and I've known Amy since college, so I pretty much trust her with anything and everything. So, but she thought it would, be good for me because I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis about 15 years ago and have had flare-ups off and on since then and prior to that. And I hate taking the medication. So I just stopped taking it. I just don't. And if Advil doesn't work, I just deal with it. But I turned 50 last year, as did my husband, and we both thought we need to be healthy. So let's do something. Well, that means me. So I joined Weight Watchers and lost 35 pounds. And then Amy came along with Juice Plus. And I thought, well, what do I have to lose? I'll just add that in with what I'm doing right now. So prior to that, I was having RA flare-ups every quarter or so, and they would last anywhere from a couple weeks to 6 to 8 weeks sometimes. I've had bad allergies, and the older I get, the worse I get. Sinus infections, at least 4 a year. They've been terrible. And sleepless nights and things like that. So 3.5 months later, here I am. I've not had an RA flare-up, which is great because boating season started for us at the beginning of May. And that would have usually caused it for me because we wakeboard, we wake surf and do all that stuff pretty hard. So I would have been usually flared up for a good month. That has not happened, so it's been great. My sinuses, I haven't gotten that sinus infection I normally would have got in June and July yet, so great for that. My allergies seem to be better, but I am still taking an allergy pill, so could be part of that. But I'm sleeping better, which is huge because I was waking up 4, 5, 6 times a night, not getting a full night's sleep. And now when I go to sleep, I don't wake up until about 4 o'clock when my dog wakes me up to walk or whatever. But that is huge for me. So, and my skin seems to be clearing up better and just simple things that I never would have thought of that eating fruits and vegetables could help with. So that's kind of my story. And I drug my sister along here tonight because my niece has horrible allergies that she gets shots for, and it just kills me to see her. So hoping we can get her on this and it'll help.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, your story, Mickey, is amazing. I love hearing that. And I can relate. I actually had terrible, terrible allergies my whole life, and I would be on an antibiotic about every 7 to 8 weeks because my allergies would lead to a sinus infection. And now I'm coming up on 4 years of no antibiotics and much improved allergies. So I am hopeful for your niece, and I'm hopeful for you one of these days. Hopefully we'll get you off that allergy medication. But thank you for sharing. I totally appreciate that. So Nikki, if you can unmute yourself and share, we'd love to hear from you, and then we'll wrap this call up.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So I have always been into health, and I always would research and read books, and there is a lot of confusing information out there. I mean, it used to be low fat, now it's high fat with the keto. But one common thread I always found through all my research through the years was always every expert across the board would agree that we need more fruits, more vegetables, more plants. And this just makes sense because God gave us these plants to heal and to prevent diseases. So I did what I could with my family, trying to get as much nutrition in as I could every day. And I just know I wasn't getting the variety and the amount that we all needed. So when Julie shared Juice Plus with me, I was so excited. It just made so much sense to me. And I knew right away that I was going to get started on it, and my entire family, we all got started on it. And, from my 1-year-old to my 13-year-old, we all take it. And I didn't have any major health problems before I started taking it, but I noticed some changes right away, and that was my skin. When I wake up in the morning and look in the mirror, my skin just looked so much better. It just didn't look so dull and tired. It was kind of glowing. So that was awesome, and that made me really happy. And just my energy, I've noticed, has changed a lot. And I should be tired. I have a 1, 2, and a 3-year-old. But I have enough energy to keep up with the day. But the most amazing transformation I have seen so close to me is my dad's transformation. And he's been on Juice Plus for 3 months now, and just carried excess weight around and has diabetes for 10 years plus on 5 different medications. And his numbers would run in the between 200 and 300, which is extremely high. And he just didn't feel good. He wasn't looking good. And I told him about Juice Plus, and he started taking it. And he has just had an amazing transformation. It's just really jump-started his health. He's lost 24 pounds. I mean, he's just shedding toxins. And he's cut his medication down in half, and his numbers are now running under 100. He feels great. He looks good. He's noticed his skin too. He's told me. I've noticed it too. And I just knew for a while, I was worried that he was going to be a statistic and lose a limb. And his favorite hobby is to ride his motorcycle. And I knew if he lost a limb, that would just kill him. And that would just kill me to see him like that. And now I just have so much hope for him, because he calls me every day to tell me what his blood sugars are. And, he'll skip the white bread because he's more health conscious on what he's doing now, because he wants this, it's a momentum that's going, and he wants to keep it going. So I just have so much hope for him, and I just know my family, I'm so excited for my kids that we're preventing sickness and diseases in their futures. So it's just one simple change that anybody can make. Mm-hmm. And it's a good change to make.
Yeah. Nikki, that story is amazing. And I have a friend who calls them her accountability capsules, because when you take all those colors every single day, it reminds you of the power of good food. And I feel like that's really happening for your dad, as it's starting him on this great path to better health. That is an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing. That was awesome. So at this point, we want to invite you to do one of 3 things. First, you might be really pumped up to eat more fruits and vegetables. You might want to go to the grocery store and buy as many as you can, raw, organic, get as many into your diet as possible. And if that's where you're at, we want you to do it. We want you to take a step towards better health. But secondly, maybe Juice Plus makes sense to you. Maybe you're curious about adding this to your diet. And if that's the case, we want to help you do that too. Juice Plus is around $2 to $3 a day, depending on where you want to start. At children age 4 through 18 or full-time college undergrads can get it for free. And it's simply the most affordable and simple way that we know to get massive amounts of nutrition into busy people and busy families. And then finally, if you heard this message tonight and you thought of my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, my best friend, they need to hear about this. We really are on a mission to inspire healthy living around the world. We want people to know that this product is an option. There are people that don't even know this is out there. So if you thought of people in your life who need to jump on a call just like this, please tell the person who invited you, because we are looking for people to lock arms with us and to help us spread this mission of health. So I want to thank you all for joining tonight. I'm going to unmute you all. And thank you for sharing your stories. Those are amazing, amazing stories. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, Julie.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.